Easter's just around the corner. Time to get ready. Everybody loves an Easter gnome. And dragon eggs. I mean, Easter eggs. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, March the 10th, 2025, and it's vlog number 399, and I hope everybody had a good week, and I hope this next week will be even better, hopefully. You know what I mean. But anyways, let's jump right into what I've been working on. Here's something that's going to make you throw up. Yeah, it's the ugly quilt. Now, I know some people have told me, well, the colors are really nice. Yeah, the colors are nice, but it's ugly. And this was all done from old orphan blocks. And tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter, I'm going to dissect this in a little bit more detail to tell you why I think it is an ugly quilt and what I'm going to do with it. But that's tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. And I did finish up this In the Hoop project. It is the Easter gnome. And you know, I have a collection of these now, gnomes for each of the principal events during the year. St. Patrick's Day, I have one for that. I have one for Valentine's Day. And now I have an Easter gnome. So I guess the next one that may come up will be probably for American 4th of July. Won't be doing that one. And for Canada Day here. And I will be doing that one. In fact, I have an idea because most of these companies don't produce anything that's Canadian themed because they're very much stuck on themselves as Americans, right? I'm sorry if that sounded like an insult. No, I'm not. Okay, moving right along, setting a nice tone for this morning, aren't we? So let's get off that whole thing for the moment. We'll come back to it. And let's go over here. Let's have some coffee. And let's talk about the video of the week, and this will make you absolutely go, "Aww." And it is a series on YouTube. Well, it's an actual television series that comes out of Australia called the Bondi Vet. And Bondi is a beach area in Sydney, Australia. We've been there. And this is the stories of in the life of a very hot vet. Yes, he is hot. And that's why I think they have him on TV. But more so than that, he has a whole series of videos of treating various animals. And he doesn't treat just your usual cats and dogs. They all have something a little different about them, different types of animals. He's had snakes and kangaroos and you name it, excuse me. He has all kinds of things. But anyways, here's what I'm talking about, and you need to watch him. This week's video clip of the week is called Bondi Vet's Funniest Cases. Bondi Vet is a veterinarian clinic in Sydney, Australia, on Bondi Beach. We've been there, not to the veterinarian, but to the beach. And this is a very popular series. This is one of the videos, and it's funny. It's kind of a compilation of some of the funniest clips from this veterinarian clinic. I just rolled over laughing, but the animals are so cute. And the vet's not bad on the eyes either, come to think of it. But I digress. This is a really great series. If you love animals, you're going to love this whole channel, Bondi Vet, because you get to see the funny, you get to see the sad, and you get to see a whole lot of cute animals, both domestic and ones that you don't really expect would be pets for people as well. So if you love animals as much as I do, and you know, you like to laugh with animals, then check out Bondi Vet's Funniest Cases. So the link for that video is, or series of videos, is in the show notes below. There is also a link for this Wednesday Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, as usual, 9 a.m. Eastern Time start. Is everybody still a little thrown off with the clocks going ahead, for those of you where the clocks do go ahead? Because I know not everywhere in the world, not everywhere here in Canada, do the clocks go ahead for daylight savings. Is it daylight savings time we're in now? I think it is. Anyways, yeah, they went back at 2 o'clock in the morning, or went ahead, sorry, not back, ahead at 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday. And yeah, so now we wake up and it's dark, but it doesn't get as dark as soon. And the days are now very slowly getting a little longer, minute by minute. So anyways, there was that. What else is in the show notes? Well, there's links to all of my videos from last week, and so lots of things there. Be sure to check that out. And if you're not sure, getting a little frog in my throat, as I always do this time of the day. I don't know what it is. I know some of you don't know where to look for the show notes, and they are a little bit hidden. Because that's how YouTube does things, right? But right underneath the video, where you see the description of the video, you'll see some words, and you'll see the little word more and 3 dots just before it. Click on that word more, and the whole window will expand, and that's where you'll see all the show notes that I'm constantly referring to, if you've been having trouble finding those. Okay, let's take a look at what weather is looking like today outside. Here we go. Okay, you can see that it is right now, it is 6:45 in the morning. It is still very dark out there, but it will get lighter. It always happens. Yeah, sun comes up. But you can see we still have snow, but it's moving away. It is melting a little bit by little bit. We haven't had any real fresh snow for a few days, which is good. But that doesn't mean winter's over. No, 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 no. Not here where I live. We could have nice green grass coming up at the end of this month, March, and we're moving into April. We could have a whole series of very nice spring-like warm days, and then suddenly, boom, it'll just, and you can hear it fall. It'll just go, boom, and we'll have a lot of snow again. So we're here in Canada. We don't get too excited about spring too early. Yeah, because we don't want to be let down, disappointed. Currently, the temperature is 1 degree C, which is basically 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's balmy. Yeah. Well, in comparison to minus 0 weather, yeah, that's very nice. Walter was out for his walk yesterday, and I believe at the time he went for the walk, it was about 3 degrees C, and he said it was really nice out. Not quite shorts weather yet, but we're getting there. Just be patient. So what's the forecast for this week? Well, according to the weather app, oh, today's high is supposed to be 9. Wow. I mean, that's get out there, get out of lunch, and sunbathe. Yeah. Weather. You may think I'm joking about that. Not really. So tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, no precipitation. Nice high tomorrow, 10 degrees. Ooh, Friday, high of 12. Saturday, high of 13. Oh my goodness. Sunday, a high of 15 degrees. That is shorts weather for sure. However, there's a 65% chance of rain as well. Saturday, too, has got 45% chance of rain. And then the temperatures go down a bit up to next Wednesday, but they're still above 0, at least during the daytime. Not so much at night, but even that is only -1, -2, that kind of thing. So right now, this is a teaser for spring for us, given what I've just said before about we could have snow in April. But anyways, it'll be nice to have the warmer weather. And you know, I think when we do get a little bit of warmer weather after what seems like an endless winter, it puts a little bit of a spring in our step, right? Haha, pun intended. And don't we need that right now? We need something, anything, any little thing that makes us, at least for a little bit of time, feel kind of happy, we need. Okay, so that takes me to what's next on my list. Oh yeah, what's pissing me off? Okay. Yeah, what's not pissing me off? Okay, as you saw in the title, I put feeling stressed out lately. I wonder why. Yeah, you can answer that question, I am sure. Especially if you're living here in Canada right now. And I don't need to say it, but I will say it anyways. There is very stressful situation happening in the political situation. We all know about it. How could we not? Because if you turn on the television, if you turn on the news, if you turn on YouTube, you're going to hear about it. I am so sick and tired of videos about Trump. Really, it is just talking heads back and forth and bitching and complaining, and well, rightly so. But the thing is, it's all talk because nobody's taking any action. And that's what gives me stress. I mean, I can always turn off YouTube or the television. I don't have to listen to the media. But the thing is, when you do listen to that kind of stuff, no one's saying anything about what should be done or what people are doing. All they're doing is complaining, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. This is not normal times. Are any times normal? Well, this is very abnormal. And with that monkey in the White House, yeah, extremely abnormal. I mean, good God, Charlie Brown, the great pumpkin does exist. You know, like, yeah. So, where's this stress all coming from besides the situation? Well, I've already alluded to where it's coming from. First of all, you turn on the television, and here in Canada, we're being doubly bombarded because we have, of course, all the stuff that we hear, whether it's real news or fake news, it doesn't matter. It's hard to tell anymore. All about what Trump's going to do to us next. His bloody tariff threats, his threat to make us the 51st state, his threat to annihilate all life on the planet Earth. My God, how can someone like that stay in power? I don't get it at all. But it's given me stress because for the first time in my lifetime, of my 68 years on this planet, we have never felt threatened by the United States that I can remember. It's always been the exact opposite. We always look towards them as a very, very strong ally. And all the problems and all the turmoil and thing were happening across the ocean in other countries. We could always rely on our good friend, the United States. And they could always rely on us too. It worked both ways. It was a good relationship. Yeah, we had our bumps and things that came along the way, but we usually were able to solve it diplomatically, with discussion, with talk, and at least be reasonable. Those days are over. Because in order to be reasonable, we have to be dealing with somebody who is also reasonable, and well, we know that the great pumpkin is not reasonable. Not even close. So, yeah, that gives us stress. We don't know if we're going to wake up one morning and suddenly bananics to the United States. No, it's not going to happen because this isn't something that even he can do just like that. I mean, we've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into it again. But it's still in the back of our mind. It is threatening us as Canadians. It's threatening our identity. And yes, we do have an identity. And if you've been watching Stephen and Walter Live, you know all about that identity. But that's giving us stress. And it's coming through watching television. So turn off the television, turn on YouTube, watch some cute kitty videos. My kitty videos have been replaced by Trump this, Trump that, Trump, 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 all everywhere. You can't escape it. To the point where last night, our usual ritual on weekends, Saturday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights, we usually sit in front of YouTube and watch YouTube. Yeah, while we're having dinner or whatever. And there used to be a lot of variety on YouTube. We could watch border security, we could watch Bondi vet, we could watch cat videos, quilting videos, sewing videos, comedy videos. There was lots of variety. You hit that home button on YouTube, and they have all the latest stuff up there for you to pick from. Usually quite a variety. Not anymore. It's all Trump. It's all about Trump. And it's about, and other people complaining about Trump, other people supporting Trump, Americans reacting to Canadians, Canadians reacting to Americans. It goes on and on and on. Boom. Your head just explodes with all that kind of thing. So, how do we get away from all of this? This is giving me stress. It is. And I'm not alone. And I know it's not just Canadians that are feeling the stress. Americans are too, at least the Americans who know what's going on. And I have been so surprised, and this adds stress to me, how many Americans really have their heads in the sand, haven't got a bloody clue as to exactly what's going on. And I have proven that point on Stephen and Walter Live. The number of individuals from the States who don't even know Canada has provinces. They call them states. Somebody did it yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. Like, hello, who don't realize that we have a prime minister, not a president. These are fundamental basics. Okay, if you lived on an island out in the Philippines or something like that, I could get that. I could understand that. But you're right next door. You're not a very good neighbor when you don't know what's going on with your neighbor. Okay? I mean, maybe that's being a little busybody, but aren't we all like that when it comes to where we live on our streets and stuff and what's going on with the neighbors? Not Americans. They don't have a clue. Not a clue. Even the ones that live in the northern states that border onto Canada, I am finding, are ignorant. Now, remember, I have told you before, when I use that word, I use it in its true sense. It means lack of knowledge. It is not a slam. It means lack of knowledge. Well, come on. Get educated. And that's what we're doing on Stephen and Walter Live right now with our section called FYI Canada. We're trying to fill people in on who we are as a country, as people, from the point of view of an average Canadian. Yeah. So this week, we did our political structure because I have heard so many Americans are convinced that we're a socialistic country. And again, out of ignorance, Americans don't know what socialism is. They think it just is another word that starts with S for communism. It is not. And we have socialistic elements, but we are not a socialistic country or communist country. We're a capitalist country, a democratic country, something the United States used to be a democratic country, not so much anymore with that. So all of that gives me stress too, realizing that our best friends, our next door neighbors, haven't got a clue. Now, I will say one thing, at least for my subscribers that are on here. I think I have weeded out most of the Trumpers. If you're a Trumper, drop me like a hot potato, please. Thank you. Yep, you're not welcome here. I say that right now. I've had comments and I've had emails sent to me supporting Canada and telling me how ashamed and how upset Americans are with what's happening right now and what Trump's doing to us. So some of the people are getting the idea. And I think a lot of us that create content on YouTube, part of our mission now is to educate the average American about what it's like to be an average Canadian right now. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. In some cases, it's almost like taking the kids that we as teachers used to refer to as our bluebirds, which was just a polite way of saying the stupid ones. I'm sorry. Yeah, that may sound nasty and cruel, but that is the truth. Yeah. So, yeah, that creates stress. And another thing that is creating stress in here in our country that is not even really related to the whole American Trump situation has to do with the fact that we're without a prime minister right now. Yes, you see on TV Justin Trudeau, he is our prime minister, but he's stepping down. And his party just on the weekend finally picked a leader. Don't know if I'm happy about who they picked, but they picked a new leader for the party. He will now be sworn in, imagine this week. I'm not sure when they're going to do it. You know, politicians have a way of delaying things. but very soon he will be sworn in as our prime minister, and Justin, bye-bye. Um, so that creates stress because we don't know what the new guy's like. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. How's he going to handle all this? This new prime minister comes from the world of finance. He is not a politician, but he has major economic experience. I mean, he was the head of the Bank of Canada. He was the head of the Bank of England at point in time. Yeah. So, he might be good for that part of it, but there's a little bit more than just the economics of the situation right now. So, scary. However, a saving grace, and I don't know if it is a saving grace because it just adds more stress, is that means we're now going to go into a federal election because he's been appointed leader of the party. He is standing in, but he was not elected by us. So we have to have an election. And unlike the United States, and we explained the election process yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, we do get a say as to what party is going to be in power. And he's the head of the Liberal Party, and if we give them the power, then he becomes the prime minister. But that's okay. But who's to say? Actually, I don't think he will become the prime minister. I think it's going to be the other guy. The other guy is the head of the other major party, the Conservative Party. Now, the Conservative Party is sort of like the Republicans in the United States. I say sort of, not quite as severe, thank God. But they are, as their name suggests, they are the conservative ones. And Pierre Poilievre, who is the leader of their party, well, he talks a good game right now that Canada will not be the 51st state. I don't really trust him as far as I can throw him, because the Conservative Party has always supported their rich buddies. Yeah, see, very much like the Republicans in the United States. So this is creating more stress for us as Canadians on top of everything else that's happening. So yeah, some mornings or some days you just wake up and you think your head's going to explode. So anyways, how do we cope with this kind of stress? Drugs? I don't know. Cat videos. I've been watching a lot of cat videos where I can find them on YouTube. I have no answer for this. I guess you just have to take it, and this is a cliche, one day at a time, and hope for the best, but plan for the worst, and every other kind of cliche you can come up with. Okay, for this. I don't know. Whatever helps you with it. Right now, I'm struggling, as all Canadians are, and Americans too, the average American. I know that this is hard on you guys too. And it's not you. And when I say you, I mean the average American. We can still be buddies, okay? You didn't create Trump. You are sort of responsible, though, for him getting in and staying in power, okay? Like, you're not completely off the hook on this. But I don't hate average Americans. If I ran into you in a restaurant or on the street, I wouldn't try to back my car over you or hit you with a baseball bat or something like that. If it was the Great Orange Pumpkin, well, that's different. But, for the average American, and I think most Canadians feel this way, we realize that you're hurting too. But we're hurting more. Okay, you threatened us. And the whole bottom line of this is, whenever we get out of this whole situation, if we ever get back to what used to be the normal, if ever, our relationship has been damaged. Yeah, it has been. And it will be for a long time, because the one thing that Canadians have is a really long memory. We won't be saying sorry for this one. Okay, let's move on, shall we? So, grow lights. Things are growing. That brings me joy. Okay, so, oops. I hit the wrong button there for a second. Let me get the right button. There we go. Okay, so this is grow light number one. It's looking a little sad. I think it's time to start thinking about harvesting the last of this lettuce out of this one and getting some new stuff in there. And grow light number two, it's looking very lush right now. That basil's just going crazy over here, and more lettuce. But again, we got to start eating more of this. We buy bags of chopped salads from Costco, and I quite like them. But we need to be eating our stuff too. Excuse me, hiccups. Okay, the peppers. I know, I show you this every week, and look at the red ones. Aren't they a thing of beauty? They really are. They don't even look real. They look like they're plastic, but they're not. And we have yellow ones too, and there's some black ones over here, and they're supposed to be. It's quite a variety. We haven't started eating them yet. Hiccups now. Jeez. So yeah, I think this week, because I think I'm out of peppers upstairs from the grocery store. So make some salads and get some of these peppers in there. And I think we should be starting some more of the little things again, because they do take a long time from seed to get to this. But I think they're a thing of beauty. Now, we're talking about spring and stuff like this, and this kind of brings summer and spring indoors under the grow lights. But then I looked out here, and this is our patio. It's underneath our deck. And it's a place we like to sit on a summer evening, with a glass of wine and usually stare at YouTube on our iPads, things like that. Right now, it's a bit of a mess under there. The cushions, of course, have been put away. Everything's been put away for the winter under there. And there's crap that is blown in. You can see the snow on the other side of the doors. When the weather gets warmer, it'll still be a couple of months. Get out there and vacuum it all up, sweep it all up, get the cobwebs out, whatever else has decided they want to live under there during the winter, and get everything out and make it real nice. And we didn't really sit out there as much this past summer as we usually do. We got to change that. But when I look at this, I start to think of warmer weather and that kind of thing. And so I want to get out there and get things reset up, but it's too cold yet for that. But I thought I'd just show you that right now, because in a couple of months' time, I'll show it to you again. It'll look totally different from that. And we do have a hot tub under there that we need to get rid of. We were going to get rid of it last year. That didn't happen. Maybe this year. And if we do, wow, that whole area under there is going to have so much space. You can't see it. There's a whole big area to the left of the screen there where the hot tub is. So, I'd kind of like to create a whole outdoor living room kind of thing in there, I think, or whatever. Well, we'll see how that goes. Not making any promises on that one. Okay, so let us move on here to new products. Well, I am going to show you a haul that, I just realized I only have one page of my notes. And I don't know why. Well, I'll fix that problem up in a second. But anyways, I did some shopping for fabric online from a store in Windsor, Ontario. And I'll show you what I bought, and I'll talk about why I bought it. But that's about the only new things that I bought. I think I mentioned yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live when we're trying to buy Canadian products, that I was running out of my usual beard oil. Yes, beard oil. Don't judge. And I usually get it on Amazon, and it's L'Oreal. But I decided, well, I'm going to source it out from a Canadian company, and I found one. Cost me a little bit more because of shipping, but we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, found out that I can get the stuff I usually buy at Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada, and that it is not an American product either. So, yeah, and the price was the same as what I was paying for it on Amazon. Walter did the research for me and found that out, So, but anyways, I'm trying a new product. And I am trying to buy things as I buy them, sourcing them all from Canada, Canadian made, or at least products that are 90% Canadian content, whether that be ingredients or distribution, packaging, that kind of stuff. Trying to do our part to support our country. So as I said, tomorrow on Idiot Quilter, I will show you that fabric haul. Okay, so that takes me to talking about my 3D printers, and I've been doing a series of experiments and prints this whole week. So I'm going to talk a little bit longer today about the 3D printer. I'm going to start off with this. These are dragon eggs. Yeah, aren't they cool? And they twist open and you can put stuff inside. And what I have done is I've made 12 of these eggs and I have put a little tiny articulated mini dragon inside each egg. My plan is this. I want to give them at Easter to my family. I imagine my sister will do Easter dinner this year. And so I will take these over with me and I'm going to fill them with like something like M&Ms, that kind of thing, and put the little dragon on top and then put one of these eggs at each place setting at the table. And everybody gets a little dragon egg for Easter. I think they're really beautiful. And they were fun to make. And I did these all on the bamboo printer. As I said, I've said every week since I've got it, I am loving that thing and I'm still loving it. It makes me feel a little guilty that I'm neglecting my 4 Creality printers because of it, you know. But my plan is to, you know, get a second bamboo printer down the road and replace maybe 1 or 2 of the Creality KEs with a bamboo printer. But right now, that's on hold. So the other thing that I'm going to maybe start printing today, because it's going to take a good week, is this. And let's see if I can blow that up just a teensy bit more. There you go. Remember I made the haunted house and I made the Christmas house back before that? Well, this is from the same designer, Fluv. I'm not sure how you say what F-U-L-V. I pay for these, but this one was about 20 bucks Canadian, so really quite reasonable. But of course, it is a theater. And the detail is incredible in it. That chandelier, for example. And not only that, but those backdrops that he's showing, I think there's about 4 different backdrops you can print out, and they're interchangeable. And he has some other suggestions as well as to, you know, what you can do with the theater, like print out little figurines and things like that to put on the stage, like there's a play going on. I think it's gorgeous. You know, I really kind of wish I had 3D printing technology back when I was a teacher, because I could see myself using something like this as a prop in my classroom when I'm teaching a play or Shakespeare or something like that. But alas, this did not exist in that time period. But I'm excited about making this one. So like I said, I think I may get started on the preliminary planning of this today. I have to figure out what colors of filament I want to use and all that kind of stuff. But if you've got a 3D printer, especially if you own a 3D printer that has an AMS system, which is an automatic material supply changer, changes your colors and things, then these models are great for that. Although he does design them as well for single color printers too. In fact, when I did my very first one, I didn't have the bamboo printer. I just had the Crealities, and they're single color printers, and that turned out great. So yeah, I'm really excited about doing this. And he has other models too that down the road I'm going to probably make, especially now that I have figured out what glue is really works well for holding the pieces together. Now I have a new problem though. Where am I going to put it when I get it done? And this will light up as well. Yeah, and that reminds me, I need to order my lights for that. I need to find a source. Possibly Temu. Yeah, I have a feeling Temu is going to get more of my business these days. But anyways, yeah, this is another project. Going to take a while. So I'll show you show bits and pieces of the process as we go through it in the final product. Okay, so what else do I have to show you? Well, do I have a picture? I guess I don't have a picture, but I do have a video. Um, I thought I had a picture of this. Just give me a sec. This is what I want to show you. This is printer poop, and that is a big bag of printer poop. And you're going to wonder, why am I saving it? I don't want to throw it out, but I can't think of what I can do with it. Now, those of you that are regulars on Stephen and Walter Live know at the first Stephen and Walter Live of every month now, I am having a draw for a mystery box of some of my 3D printed creations that I send out. And in the last one that I sent out 2 little packets of 3D printer poop, and I put a label on them. And it says, "The Idiot Quilter 3D, Genuine 3D Printer Poop." As a joke, and also it serves as packing material as well. But yeah, I'm eventually going to have to get rid of it, but I really hate doing that. And they haven't created technology yet. They're working on it for, recycling this, making new filament out of it. Down the road, I'm sure that will happen, but right now it's not there yet. I was trying to think if there's a way I could make some kind of modern art with it. I don't know. Cast it in resin, make lovely paperweights. I don't know. If you have ideas, I'm open to them. But as I said, it does produce a lot of that when you're doing things like that theater, because there's multiple color changes, and it's every time it does a color change, it like basically purges some of the old color to make room for the new color, and that's where you get printer poop from. So yeah, it's one of the downfalls of these kind of systems. I am sure in another year or two that will be solved. There will be something that will solve that problem. But anyways, I thought I'd show that to you. And also, okay, so I was having some problems with one of my Creality printers the other day, and it just was not producing. Well, it was making a mess out of what it was printing, and I couldn't figure it out. I finally did figure it out, but I've made a little video about my experiments, because I also experiment with the different speeds that my new bamboo printer can, and to see if it would have an effect on the prints. So I'm going to stick that little video clip in here for you right now. Okay, so I've been doing some experimenting with my 3D printers. First of all, let's go to the simple experiment, this one, with these 4 benchies right here. And these are printed on the Bamboo Labs X1 carbon. And the carbon's been working fine. There hasn't been any problems with it. But I want to test the speed settings, because you can go in and just change the speed. The standard is this little benchy right here. Looks really good, nice and smooth, not a lot of layer lines and everything like that. That's the standard speed. And that's the one I'll probably use most of the time. But I want to see what would happen if I bumped it to the other ones. Now, there is a speed that's a little lower than the standard. It's this one. It's called silent. And the idea behind it is it's a little slower speed, but your printer doesn't make as much noise when it's doing that. So if that's a problem for you, the noise level, it's not for me, and it's not that loud. But some people might be sensitive to it, or they have their printer located somewhere where it might disturb other people, like in their living room, or I've heard of some people having them in their bedroom. Yeah, figure that one out. So I tried that, and the quality should be slightly better. So that was the standard. And it might be, but is it enough to worry about? And in my mind, probably not. Now, then there's a speed called Sport, which is faster. And depending on what you're printing, you could have a problem with the model a little bit at those speeds. But it came out pretty decent, too. Like, I can't really tell it. If I didn't label it, I wouldn't really be able to tell it looking any different from the other 2 that are here. Now, the last speed they call ludicrous. I think that's hilarious. They call it ludicrous's speed, and it's very fast. And yeah, there's a little bit, but just a little bit of quality errors. If you look here at the bow of the ship compared to the one that went a little not quite as fast, and with the standard. So yeah, there's a little bit, but again, it didn't save me that much time. So yeah, I just wanted to see what it would be like with a different speed. So I'll probably, for the most part, in most applications, just go with the standard one, the default. Now, these are a little different story. These were not done on the Bamboo Lab. These were done on my Creality KEs, which I just figured out how to connect them into my LAN system here at home so I can actually send a sliced model to the printers without having to put it on a USB stick, which is fantastic. And it was easy to do. So you just had to know the IP address of each of the printers because they connect to your LAN automatically. So anyways, I did that. But then on one of the printers, well, printer 2, printer 3, and printer 4 did an excellent job. No problems whatsoever. But printer 1, look at this. What a mess. Now, at first I thought, well, I don't have my nozzle heat settings correct on this. And so I did it again. I set those, made sure it was where I want it to be, and utter mess. Just look at this thing. It looks like a shipwreck, actually. Something at the bottom of the sea covered in barnacles. But just horrible, horrible. So I got thinking about it. Is it because then, is it my filament? Because I am using some old filament that I've had around for a while, a long while. And filament PLA, can absorb moisture from your air, although in our climate, don't really have that kind of problem because we're not really a very humid climate. But nevertheless, I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll get out my filament dryer, which I have not used in ages, and I don't know if it does anything anyways, but I reviewed some videos about it because I haven't used it in several years. And I've got the filament that I used here sitting in it, and it'll be there for 24 hours. And we'll see if that makes a difference. But in the meantime, I put another spool of filament on, and that I thought was a pretty safe bet. And this is what I got. Same thing, just a horrible, horrible print, which made me think that, okay, this is not a problem with the filament. It's something else. And I would say it has something to do with heat. Either the nozzle isn't hot enough or things aren't cooling down enough. So I did some more research and I found several articles that said that that was the problem. I tried it again just to see if the fans were working. And the problem with the Creality KEs, you just can't operate the fans independently. There has to be a print happening to see if the fans are going to operate. So I did a partial print and look at that. But this came off the build plate. I stopped it immediately at this stage and pulled it off the build plate. And it was, for a couple of seconds, it was really spongy like rubber. And then it solidified. So that meant things aren't cooling down properly, because if your filament is not cooling down as it's going across each layer, it just squishes into the layer before it that hasn't had enough time yet to cool down to the right temperature. So I did have a problem with my fans a little while ago when I replaced something. I noticed a couple of wires to one of the fans had gotten a little bare. So I did a quick fix with some electrical tape. Well, that didn't work because electrical tape must have shifted or whatever, and it was shorting out. And when I unplugged that fan, the other fan would work. When I plugged it in, the other fan wouldn't work because there's two fans, one on either side. So one was shorting out the other one, was my theory. So long story short, I played around with the wires to see if I could find a short, and I ended up cutting out the bad part, splicing the wires together, and protecting them with electrical tape. And lo and behold, it's working now properly and giving me a proper print. This isn't the actual print, but that's what I will use as my benchmark for the benchy that's coming off there. And I'm pretty sure just looking at the initial first layers of it, it looks like it's printing fine. So it's the fan problem. Now my fix is kind of a temporary fix because I feel that over time that electrical tape will fail that's on there and I need to rewire it. I've never done that, but I do have the equipment here to do that, I think. So that might be my next project down the line, is to rewire the fan. So I thought you might be interested in knowing all about this because, yeah, always learning, always learning. And as I said, I was really excited today when I was able to now wirelessly transfer from my computer to the printers whatever I want to print, which is brilliant. So All is well with the new printers or with the old printers. I've got them all fixed up. They're all working fine. Again, now I have to find some new things to print. And I don't know where I want to go with all of this because I've been printing basically a lot of trinkets. Yeah, I love printing the dragons. In fact, I've got a couple of new ones that I want to print later today as well. But we'll see. Practical prints, I'm always looking for practical prints, but you know, how many more desk organizers does one person need? Or cups, or bowls, or bag clips? Because that's what I'm finding, more or less. And that's why I get so excited about doing these big elaborate structures like the Haunted Mansion and the theater, that kind of thing, because they're works of art. But again, I run out of space of where to put them. Oh well. Toys for big boys, as I always say. Okay, so let's switch topics. And here's another clip from one of our early Stephen and Walter lives. And someone wanted to ask us about the roles we play in our relationship. This is a question that gay people hate because inadvertently you always get asked, who is the woman and who's the man? Yeah. Here's what I'm talking about.
So, talking about things that we do, someone wants to, okay, this, believe it or not, this is a question that every time you meet somebody who is straight, they will always ask this question. So, and it's kind of a, now I'm not saying that the person that wrote this question had a hidden agenda, but many times straight people have a hidden agenda behind this very innocent question. And that is, who does the cooking?
In other words, who plays the woman?
Who's the woman, who's the man? Oh no, sweetie, we're both all men. All men, yeah. Yeah, it kind of kills the purpose in being male gay people. You know, if you were going to play the role of a female. Now, okay.
We do have our strengths.
Yeah.
And sort of play upon those strengths. Like each person has their own thing that they like. Like, I mean, if you want to, I tend to do more of what is sometimes considered male stuff here because I do a little bit more of the repair work and stuff like that. But
you're so much.
But I mean, we still both cook.
Yes, we both cook. In fact, tonight was his night to cook, and he cooked. Yes, Walter did something. You know that he made dinner. He made reservations. Actually, he got takeout or whatever, or as those of you that are in the UK call it, maybe Europe, takeaway. We call it takeout here. Oh, you want some more of this?
Yeah,
probably,
I think so.
Do you really? And you see, I serve. So we both cook. Now Walter tends to cook on weekends because I make him, because I usually cook during the week. I like cooking.
I do too. We have our own strengths for cooking. Like, I mean, I'll make a whole pile of cabbage rolls and freeze them, or I'll make fresh pasta and freeze it and stuff like that.
Okay, I was just catching up on the comments here, and Ian says men are the best cooks. Oh, Ian, please don't insult the ladies. But you're right.
And Steve has his own things that he's good at, so...
I'm the social convener about things, and the organizer.
Yeah, he's major organized. He's much more organized than I am.
And I look after the running of the house.
However, I plan all the trips and do all the bucking.
Yes, because he loves doing that. He'll spend hours at night.
I swear my second career should have been travel agent.
Yep. And, you know, we know each other's tastes so well that whatever he says we're going to do is always good with me, because it always fits with that. Or it's just that I have found over the years it doesn't pay to argue about that kind of thing. Jennifer says, my husband tried to cook some bacon one time. It looked like a burnt newspaper. Okay, yeah, my father didn't know how to boil water, so...
My dad couldn't cook either. In fact, when my mom went to the hospital one time, my mom did all the cooking. When my mom went to the hospital one time, or no, actually she was looking after my sister's kids when they were born, and she was away for a bit. And my dad says, oh, he wanted coffee. My mother always made instant coffee. Yuck. But anyway, he had to boil water. So I said, well, I'll just put the kettle on and I'll put water in the kettle and I'll put the kettle on. But he filled, for 1 cup of coffee, he filled the kettle right to the brim. So it took forever to boil.
And then he burned it.
And so I ended up emptying half the water and helping him out with that. So
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the messages as they scroll by here to see if they. Deborah said she'd love to see some of Walter's stained glass. Yeah, you know what I am, what I'm into, like my crafting stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff. Walter does stained glass, and you can see Walter's stained glass. I did a video about maybe a year ago, actually probably less than a year ago. It's in my back videos on YouTube. But you can see all of Walter's stained glass creations. We have them in the windows, we have lamps, we have his biggest project to date has been his Tiffany lamp that is in this kitchen, but in order for me to show that to you, I'd have to like do major rearranging of the stuff that we're broadcasting on. So, but that's in the video too. So if you just look for the video, you'll find all the stuff he does.
or maybe in a future broadcast
We'll take him on a tour.
or something like that, right?
A live tour of our house. That if you would like that idea,
Yeah.
let us know. We can do that too sometime. I'm just looking to make sure we didn't miss any other comments that we should or questions.
Yeah, I do stained glass, which technically a lot of women do stained glass. There aren't as many guys that do stained glass, and I think it's because it has the artistic quality to it. Although it's a very hands-on kind of work where you're cutting glass
And that's why I don't do it.
soldering and things like that. So
Because I'm accident prone. I would cut off all my fingers the first night, and I just know I would. I stab myself on a regular basis cutting up carrots. So, yeah.
well, stained glass, you can't be squeamish about cutting your fingers with it.
But, so that was it. Oh, and then one other question back to the cooking was, do either of you cook or grill? We do both. We do both.
Yeah.
We have, we don't barbecue grill like we used to as much anymore, even though, well, this year the summer's been kind of like, it's been raining most of the time. Right now it's gorgeous. It's been gorgeous for 9 days.
Another common question somebody asked me, because when I used to do stained glass, they'd ask me all kinds of questions too about our relationship. And one of the questions is, who does the laundry?
Oh, yeah.
And that's an interesting question because we both do the laundry.
Yeah.
I do my own clothes. He does his own
And I
clothes.
do my own clothes.
I do the bedding, and he does the towels and stuff.
He's very particular about how you wash clothes. He's very particular about the detergent you use. I figure if it's detergent, you use it. Very particular about the fabric softener you use and things like that as well. So, you know, so yeah, we both have our own specialities and things like that, but you know, after 34 years, it doesn't really matter anymore. I guess
Maybe also we had to, before we moved in together, we had to do all that stuff on our own, so.
Yeah, we had to learn it on our own because we lived on our own.
So, we just sort of carried a lot of that stuff over.
Yeah.
When we got together.
Yeah, so it just works out that way.
I like to do gardening more than he likes to do gardening, so.
Yeah, my idea of a
gardening, so-
perfect garden and a perfect lawn is pavement. You know, and I'm serious. I would be very happy with my whole front lawn done in interlocking brick or paved over. Okay, you want green painted. I mean, it's not that I don't like the look of gardens. I think it was because as a kid, my mother had a lot of gardens and she made me weed them all the
Somebody
time.
said what the time is here. It's 6:45.
6:45 here. And Lindsay, where are you? You're in, you're not in Florida, are you? No. I don't think so. Ian says, with any marriage or close relationship, it's about helping each other. Yeah, really, and I think that's what works out for us because...
Okay, so that brings me to the end of today's episode, but events in the past week before we go, we had a pop-up sew day. If you weren't there, you missed it. Why? We had a good time, got a lot of things done. And when will the next pop-up sew day be? Well, I haven't determined that yet. This is still early March, probably closer to the end of the month or the first part of April, because at the end of April we have the Idiot Quilter Spring Retreat, as you know. So, excuse me, spring fever. So as you know, that's at the end of April. Now, don't get too worried. You haven't missed anything yet. I haven't put out any announcements about registration and all that kind of stuff. That will come at the first of the month. And down the road, not this week, but the week after, I am doing a guild presentation as well. So, yeah, I'll say more about that after that has happened. So, yeah, there's things coming up. I've got lots of projects to work on as well. I am never bored. I will say that. I may be stressed out. I may be worried, but I'm never bored. So, I guess that's one out of three out of two. One out of three things. That's good. Focus on that. Okay. So, speaking of focusing, it's time for me to focus on what I need to do for the rest of this day. And I hope you have a really great day. Thanks for joining me. Tune in tomorrow for the Idiot Quilter episode. And yeah, have a good one. Bye for now. Watch a cat video if you're feeling stressed.